what do you think about the economy this year?
Real estate is not that expensive as other countries. It just goes up. Yes.
I want to hear from you about the characteristic of each region. はい、皆さんこんにちは。フィリピンアセットコンサルティングのユーノです。今日はですね、こちらですね、セイビルさんですね、グローバルファームなんですけども、フィリピンでもね、この不動産マーケットのね、リサーチとかもすごくね、しっかりやっている会社ですね。こちらのセイビルさんにお伺いして、このアンディ・ゴメスさんね、はい、ゴメスさん、アンディ・ゴメスさんね、エグゼクティブディレクターのね、不動産のね、にいろいろちょっとフィリピンの、不動産マーケットがね、今どうなってるのかっていうこととかね、あとフィリピン全体の経済がどうなってるのか、不動産市場は経済とね、非常に密接に関係してますので、そういったところをですね、いろいろちょっと深掘りしてね、見ていきたいと思います。So thank you for joining our YouTube.
Pleasure is ours. Thank you.
So firstly, could you introduce yourself and also could you introduce Sagan?
Okay. So my name is Andy Gomez. I am the Executive Director for the Occupier Services team in KMC Savills. So KMC Savills is a multinational real estate consulting firm. We do anything and everything real estate, from brokerage, consultancy, valuations, property management, facilities management, name it, we're one-stop shop.
So you cover all the business service area of the
Yes, sir.
market.
Yes.
So I think Sable have an office in Tokyo.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know someone.
Nice.
So Sable is a global company.
Yes.
The base at the headquarters is US or UK? My memory is.
Well, it started in the UK. We have offices in the US as well. We have a regional offices in Singapore.
Okay. So you have information around the world.
Yes, we're a global company.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. So today I want to hear about, of course, property market, real estate market.
Yes.
But before talking about the real estate market, I want to know the economy. What's happening in the economy? This is very important for the property market. So could you tell me what do you think about the Philippine economy as of now and 2024 and midterm future?
Okay. So the Philippine economy, just like any other economy, was badly hit by the pandemic. And just like any other country, we're all recovering. Zooming into real estate, for office, things are getting better. So the office market is recovering. Yes. So we started seeing the recovery in 2022. Then come 2023, there was a lot of take-up of space. However, the take-up wasn't really seen as much in Metro Manila because most of the take-ups happened in the provincial areas. Yes. So you're talking about Iloilo, Davao, some portions of Cebu as well.
Why this kind of phenomenon happen, meaning that many take-up happen outside Manila?
Well, because the major takers of space were BPOs. Yes, back office processing, for those who are not really familiar with that. So one of the top components or expenses of BPOs is the labor cost. Not really the real estate cost. So because of this, they went to cities that provided very good talent, but the labor cost was not as much as Metro Manila.
How much difference between Metro Manila and province there?
It really depends on which particular province, because the minimum wage differs per city. But it's a major component that's widely considered by most locators. So you can get 20 to 30% reduction in your manpower.
Okay. And also, I have a question about BPO. Is a major industry in the Philippines. Firstly, BPO have many varieties. Right?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So, what is the major services and industry in in the BPO sector?
It's mostly voice.
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 Call center.
Yes, call center. So the top market of the Philippines is still the United States of America. So I'm not sure if you've tried to call, let's say, your card company from the US, but
American Express.
yeah, more often than not,
Master.
that call will be answered in the Philippines. And the reason why the voice portion of the BPO is doing very well in the Philippines is because of the type of workers, Filipino workers we have serving the BPO industry. Number one, you've got good diction. Various nationalities can understand how we speak our English. Okay, that's, I guess, number one. Number two, Filipinos are generally patient.
Patient.
Yes. So especially when you're not so happy with your credit card company or your utility provider, and you speak to a Filipino, more often than not, the problem gets resolved. So I guess those are the top two reasons. Well, I'll put in the third one. So that would be Filipino employees are generally loyal. Loyal. Yes.
Okay, I see.
So well, not like in Japan where the company that you start, that's the company you'll retire, but Filipinos tend to stay in their BPO companies as long as they can, as long as they're compensated.
I see. So from the industrial point of view, you told about the car company.
Yeah.
What other
Customer service in general.
Yeah.
Anything that has to do with customer service. If you mentioned to me a while ago that you're from Yokohama.
Yeah.
So Amazon is quite big there. So e-commerce companies also the customer service.
Okay.
We also have that here in the Philippines. And then customer service of, let's say, a travel agency.
Travel. Okay.
It's a mix. Yeah, a lot. So aside from we have what you call captive and non-captive BPOs. A captive is direct to the company. Let's say Deutsche Bank, JP Morgan. So they'll have their own call centers here in the Philippines, for example, even Wells Fargo. Non-captive, you have the types of Concentrics, EDCX.
The call center company.
Yes. So it's outsourced to them. Yes. So for captive, it's not outsourced. It's it's only outsourced to the country, but not the company.
I see.
But for the non-captive ones, everything is outsourced too. So a company like a non-captive company can have various type of clients servicing that are their clients. So yeah.
Captive company is usually the Filipino.
No. It's the parent company, wherever it may be, from the US, from Europe. It's captive as long as, again, let's say for example, Amazon has a US office, they'll put up a Philippine office.
Okay.
So if let's say Amazon wants to outsource their voice, their customer service to a non-captive partner, they can. And you have the other providers.
Non-captive company is basically the Filipino.
No, not well. There are local Filipino BPOs, but there are also multinational BPOs.
Oh, really?
So you have American BPOs, you have Indian BPOs, Australian BPOs.
I see.
So yeah, it's number, right?
So origin the country to outsource to Philippines mostly United States.
That's the biggest, our biggest customer.
Biggest customer.
Yes, because we speak the English language, and I think culturally there are a lot of similarities between the US and the Philippines.
I see. So so what do you think about the economy this year?
Well, I would be cautiously optimistic.
Cautiously optimistic.
Yes, because of course after a pandemic, as markets are recovering, there will be some sort of a looming global recession.
Global recession.
Yes.
the
Yes.
economy.
Yes, correct. So there are many factors
Yeah.
that affects the global economy, and of course, whatever happens in in the big countries affects the Philippines a lot.
Okay.
But I think, given that the Philippines is very strong in the BPO sector, and there is a possibility that we will be getting more outsourced work from the other countries.
So BPO industry itself increasing.
Yes.
Increasing.
Yes, yes. I'm only, of course, I think this is the first pandemic that a lot of people have experienced. And with that, the easiest comparison in terms of the past is the global financial crisis in 2008. And what happened there was, after the global financial crisis, as the economies were recovering, they needed countries like the US had to outsource work for the parent companies to survive, and then we saw a very big growth from 2010 until about 2017.
Of BPO industry.
Of the BPO industry.
From the global financial
Yes.
crisis in 2008.
Yes.
After that, BPO industry significant.
Yes, it's significantly.
Okay. The other factor, I think that OFW, BPO is a major industry. BPO is a work business coming into Philippines. Right?
Yes.
At the same time, Philippine people go out.
Oh yes. That's another.
Yeah.
That's another factor, of course.
Yeah.
Or
It is. I think it is not directly relation with property market, but actually, I think that
it actually helps.
OFW
The OFW. Yes.
Real estate
Yes.
market, right?
So
this is also very big impact.
I guess it's no secret as well that our OFWs are the unsung heroes of the Philippines. From our nurses, from our seafarers, engineers. The Philippines send the best talent abroad. And what's nice about the OFWs is that whatever money they make, they remit back to the Philippines. And that has helped the Philippine economy a lot. I mean, that's what kept the Philippine economy afloat for a long time. Salute to our OFWs. But yes, because of the remittances coming in, it actually the families receiving the money reinvest whatever is they receive after they they're able to pay for their daily necessities. They invest, and of course, the safest investment is property. It's every Filipino's dream to own their own home.
Okay.
So
I have a question from our clients. Actually, how many percentage of remittance money go to the property market?
I don't have the numbers for that right now. The exact numbers as to how much is directly invested from the remittances to properties. Yeah, but
you have a gut feeling. I say always from 20 to 50, depends on the year.
Yeah, that should be correct, because I'm not I don't want to give a guesstimate, so to speak, because again, we're coming from a pandemic.
Sure.
Yeah, if it were probably before the pandemic, it would have been easier to give an estimate on the number. But of course, before investing, daily necessities have to be addressed as well. And we also have to remember that there are a number of our OFWs that had to come back to the Philippines. They lost their jobs because of what happened to the economies where they were working.
So, I have another way of question. There is a real estate market, right, in Philippines.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and for example, newly built condominium.
Okay.
60% must be sold to the people. 40%
To foreign investors.
Next for foreign.
Yes.
I want to know just roughly 60% of Filipino buyer. How many percentage OFW local do you have sense of the number?
I wouldn't be surprised if it was about 30%.
30%, yeah.
Around 30%. Because, real estate is the safest investment. So, for the more mature Filipino investors who's also working abroad, real estate is their best bet.
Okay. Thank you.
Then the other 70 would be investors and end users.
End
users and
users.
investors.
Yeah.
Yes. Because I think it's no secret that when you buy a property, when it's pre-selling, you buy it low. And of course, there's always a price increase every quarter, every half year, thereabouts. So when you buy pre-selling, it's also good because you buy it low and just on the appreciation of the property you already earned. A lot of, one of the things that a lot of foreign investors are looking at is the yield. But sometimes they forget to realize that the Philippines is an emerging economy. Therefore, real estate is not that expensive as other countries. It just goes up. So aside from the yield, they should, foreign investors should also look at the capital appreciation. Yes, because look, let's say a big premier developer like Arthalan. What they do is they increase their prices, I think every quarter by 2%.
2%.
So just imagine, you buy a pre-selling property, which will be completed in 3 years, and then you get the capital appreciation of 8% per year until it's turned over to you. So when the property is turned over to you, you would have gained about 24% already. And then, if you're an investor, you gain that 24%, and as the project matures, the property value also goes up. If you're an investor, you can rent it out. If it's a good community, the rental rates tend to be on the high side. So you earn on the rental rate, you earn on the capital appreciation, even though you get a yield of less than 4 or 5 thereabouts. Your capital appreciation is what you should look at.
Bigger portion.
Yes.
In the case of Philippines.
Correct.
I understand. So, thank you. So, why don't we go into the property sector?
Sure.
Our audience mostly the investors.
Okay.
And some of the investors like real estate. So, of course, the very important factor to invest in real estate, the location.
Yes.
I want to hear from you about the characteristic of each region's
Each city. Okay.
From the investor's point of view.
Okay. It also depends on the asset class.
Okay.
So, are we talking about office or residential? Office and residential.
I want to know both.
Okay, so let's start with office. So there aren't a lot of offices that are being sold. Okay, but in terms of the office market, the biggest in terms of leasable area is still Makati, with over 3 million square meters of space, followed by Bonifacio Global City, BGC here. You've got about 2.5 million square meters of space or more. And then it's followed by Ortigas, Ortigas. Ortigas is actually one of the oldest business districts together with Makati. So before, there were only, in the 80s, early 90s, there were only 2 business districts. It was either you worked in Makati or you worked in Ortigas. Yeah. So as to rental rates,
Oh, okay. Before we
Yeah.
there, how about I want to know that how about the Bay Area? And how about Quezon City?
Yes,
Yeah.
okay. So, in the Bay Area, there are also offices that are for sale. Prior to the pandemic, the Bay Area was the fastest growing business district.
Because of Polo and Chinese investment.
Yes, because of the Chinese investors.
Yeah.
Even condos being built by the likes of SMDC.
Oh yeah.
In terms of size, they were quite small. But in terms of price per square meter, it was high. It was competing with the premier developments in Makati and BGC, which was a little bit strange.
I see.
But you had those Chinese buyers that would pay cash, they buy a floor.
I heard
So
many that kind of
yeah,
stuff.
that's why the prices just kept on going up for residential condos. Well, right now, since the Pogo industry is, not what it was
Yeah.
back pre-pandemic days, there's a lot of vacancy in the area. Yes.
Okay.
So there's about approximately less than 30%.
30%. These are office,
Office.
30%
Yes.
vacancy at the
Yes.
at the moment.
Yes.
Okay.
Are-
How about other areas?
Yes. Sorry. Other.
How
yes,
about
continue.
how about the other those vacancy that you Makati?
Okay. So BGC is the best performing business district. Vacancy rates are now below 10%, so it's now single digit. Rental rates have gone to almost pre-pandemic levels.
Already.
Yes.
Okay.
So the average rental rate in BGC, also considering so the center and the North Triangle area, the average rental rate is now about 1,200 pesos per square meter.
1,200 per square.
Thereabouts. Yes.
BGC.
BGC.
Okay.
And in Makati, the average should be at around, it's a little bit lower because in Makati, it's a mix of old stock, new stock.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mixture.
It's a big mix.
Yeah.
So it's slightly lower than BGC at about 1,100 pesos per square meter. If you're looking for space in Makati, actually now's the best time to get space. You have buildings that just consider the occupancy over the rental rate. The most expensive buildings are still in Makati, but they're pulled down by buildings, the older stock. So rental rates in Makati can go as high as 1,500, 1,600 pesos per square meter. And the low, let's say, not even considering Makati Fringe, but the CBD area, as low as about 700 to 800 pesos per square meter.
700 to 800.
Yes.
Fringe.
Not even in the Fringe, within the older parts of Makati. Yeah, so you're talking about the Gaspi Village, the Sabi Village. Yeah. And then in BGC, the rental rates are a little bit, they're not that high, but they're not too low. So they're at an average. So the highest rental rate in the BGC area would be at about 1,400 pesos per square meter. And the low of about 800 pesos per square meter in the North Triangle.
How about the Ortigas and Quezon?
Ortigas rental rates are have an asking rate of 900 pesos per square meter, but closing rates are closer to about an average of 700 to 750 pesos per square meter. So it's back. We could say that it's back to the pre-pandemic level. And though you, like Makati, you have older buildings, you also have really nice new buildings that are available for lease. Buildings developed by SM Capelan, for example, the Podium West Tower. It's one of the most beautiful buildings in the country. We also have the headquarters of Jollibee, called Jollibee Tower. You should see it. It's quite beautiful. So aside from Jollibee, the Jollibee group occupying the space, you also have some space available for lease. So it'd be a good option for the painters as well.
How about
Quezon City? Sorry. Okay, so Quezon City, like the Bay Area, accepted Pogo during the time that Pogos were big. So because of that, there are significant amounts of space available. you have buildings that are have a very low occupancy rate, thus pulling down. And these are newer buildings. It pulled down the rental rates to between 550 pesos to about 600 pesos per square meter. Quezon City.
5 to 600.
550 to 600 pesos per square meter.
Yes. Okay. So the Bay Area, first. They have a very high price for pandemic.
Yeah, they went as high as 1,500 pesos per square meter. Now it's about half of that. Yes, a little even. You can even get buildings for as low as 600 pesos per square meters.
Okay. I see.
These are spaces previously vacated by tenants.
Okay.
But just like any other business district, you have to look at, us as a leasing consultant. What are we going to do to help the Bay Area? What our team started to do was, we're now bringing logistics companies, shipping companies from older areas in Manila. Not even Makati, but Manila. The old Manila.
You mean the Bayside area?
You're talking about the Taft area.
Oh.
Yeah. Ermita. Yes. UN Avenue, thereabouts. So we're getting clients there, Calao. And then we're trying to convince them to go to newer buildings in the Bay Area, which is more accessible because of the proximity to EDSA and the airport. If they need to be near the seaport, the area is still good because it has close access to the seaport as well.
This is a warehouse and
Office.
Yeah,
they had offices of shipping companies, logistics companies. Yes. So I was telling you earlier that the way our team does our business in leasing buildings is not just waiting for the tenant. We actually go to the clients. So we visit them in their old office. Let's say for shipping companies, we visit them in their head offices in Calao, in Manila, and with the quality of building where they're at, they don't. Sometimes they even pay less to transfer to a nicer building in the Bay Area.
Okay. I see. Okay. So what about the other area, meaning that Cebu, Davao?
Okay. Outside Metro Manila, outside the zone. Okay, so as mentioned earlier, BPOs are doing expanding in the Visayas and Mindanao. So top markets are for the Visayas, you have Iloilo, and then I would say even Cebu's also doing well.
Call center?
Yes, BPO's call centers. Yes. Iloilo, Cebu. We also have in Mindanao, Davao's doing pretty well. You know that lease rates in Cebu and Davao is almost the same as even some buildings in Ortigas.
So 700 per square meter.
600, 650 thereabouts. Yes, and space in Iloilo has been tight since 2022 because of the lack of stock and the amount of demand. It's more from expansions from existing players in Iloilo. But for Cebu, yes, it's also expansions from existing locators, from existing BPOs. Last week, Yamura-san, I was handling a transaction and I was pretty sure that building wouldn't get tenants, quickly, given that the vacancy in Cebu Business Park and IT Park right now, it's the highest it's been in a while. A weekend ago they told me that 2 floors were taken already. There were 4 floors available in that building. The 2 floors were taken already. I couldn't believe it. And then last Friday, we almost lost the 2 expansion floors for my client because a client came in and was very interested, so we had to work overtime to make sure that the client secured that space. But yes, some buildings in Cebu are getting very high occupancy rates. You have buildings that are 100% occupied already in the IT park. The one that got filled up last week was HM Tower. It's 100% already. Buildings such as the one I was mentioning a while ago, very popular among Japanese investors, Cebu Exchange. Cebu Exchange is at 85%.
Fancy.
And it's 85% but of a 107,000 square meter building. It's a lot of space that was just taken up. The anchor tenant is a big BPO.
Okay.
Yeah.
So BPO industry need the labor force. So
Yes.
each city located by the BPO company need a certain level of population. Manila is a very big population.
Yes.
15 billion.
Yes.
How about the population in Cebu and Davao and Iloilo?
You know that after Tributary, the biggest city in terms of land mass is Davao City.
Davao.
You know that?
Davao.
Yeah, Davao. In terms of land mass. Land mass, size.
Size.
Yeah.
What about city population?
Population is definitely much lower than
2 million.
thereabouts. Yeah, lower than Metro
City
Manila.
and Davao City is almost the same size from the population.
Yes, but you have to understand, Cebu City is much smaller than
Much
Davao.
smaller.
Yeah,
Okay.
Cebu City.
City.
Yes.
Cebu Island.
Cebu Province,
Same as Davao.
thereabouts. Yes.
The second biggest city in Philippines after Manila is
Cebu.
Davao and Cebu.
Yes.
Almost the same size.
Yes. Correct.
How about Iloilo? I've never been to Iloilo.
So you should go. Iloilo is, they've got a very good infrastructure,
Really?
and the cost of living there is quite low. So you'll be surprised. Like let's say when you eat in a restaurant, it's about 50% what you pay in Metro Manila.
Already?
Yeah.
Half.
Around half.
Okay.
I was just in Iloilo a few months ago, and I couldn't believe how nice it was with all the infrastructure development and of course the prices of food. Of course you have a lot of heritage things to visit there. So very nice city.
Okay, yes. Now you talk about the infrastructure. So I have a lot of attention of the infrastructure building. Because infrastructure building have a big impact for the property value.
Yes.
So what do you think about the infrastructure construction, Manila and other areas, and how impact to the real estate?
Well, what's nice was during the pandemic, a lot of the major infrastructure works were, rushed. So I live in an area south of Metro Manila called Silang, Cavite. Yes. So when I bought my property in 2017, I think it was at about 16,000 pesos per square meter. And then when they announced the Calax Road, and then our village, our village would have a nearby exit, the prices immediately went up to 25,000 pesos per square meter. And then when the pandemic happened, when you thought you could get a property at a discount, it was the opposite for this development. Now, the average price per square meter in our village is about 60,000 pesos per square meter. And it's because of the Calax. The Calax Road. We have a lot of access points now to the Calax Road. And to get to the office, so from Cavite all the way to BGC, it's about 45 kilometers, 46 kilometers. It normally takes me less than an hour to get to the office. Yeah. So what I do, I don't go during the rush hour. Rush hour is normally between 7 to 9. So during that time, I do my calls. I work on some documentation that I have to finish. I leave the house between 9 to 10. There's no traffic.
No traffic. Okay. I see.
So it's in terms of if I lived in Quezon City and which is much near in terms of kilometers. So it depends on where in Quezon City, but I guess average distance is between 10 to 15 kilometers to BGC. That 10 kilometers should probably take you an hour and a half, 2 hours. So for your Japanese investor clients, you might want to consider going, south of Metro Manila. It's a little bit more relaxed. And we have a lot of golf courses.
Oh yeah. Okay. So now I want to discuss about the price value of the asset. I want to know the asset value in each region, meaning per square meter price.
Okay.
Makati, BGC, Quezon, Bay Area.
What do you focus on? Office or residential?
Both.
Okay. No, so there aren't a lot of offices for sale in Metro Manila and in Metro Cebu. I think there are only about 2 or 3 projects that sell on a per strata basis.
Okay.
But for Metro Manila, so developers that are selling office space, that will be Artelan. So they have the Savia Financial Center in Arca South. You have Ortigas Land. So they develop Glaston Tower and I can't remember the last one. But there are 2 projects. Okay. Yeah, in Ortigas. So one was in Frontera Verde and Citas. So that's Glaston, and then you have another one in Ortigas CBD in front of EBD. And then Ayala Land was also selling office spaces. So they have office space. Galleon, there you go. Sorry for Ortigas. Yeah, so it's Glaston and Galleon. Yes. Yes. And then for Ayala Land, they were selling in Makati and here in BGC. Yes. So in terms of in Metro Manila, the prices, the range between, let's say, high-end residential and office, it's almost the same. So on average of about for Makati, and it varies per area in Metro Manila.
Yeah.
So for Makati, BGC, the average would be a little less than 500,000 pesos per square meter.
100,000.
Thereabouts, a little less, or within that range. But if it's in a new area like Arca South, it's more of about 300,000 pesos per square meter.
In my gut feeling, the price per square meter before pandemic, my gut feeling, 300K already pretty
much
high price, but now 500. Oh, really?
Yeah.
So the price
It keeps on going up. So you're talking about office spaces along Ayala Avenue, the developer Ayala Land, and then of course, what's this? But yes, during BGC pre-pandemic, you'd find office spaces here that were for sale. Let's say the High Street South Corporate Center, that was less than 300,000 pesos per square meter.
So 300
before
already.
at that time,
I might think 300 already.
Yes.
High, but now 500.
Yes, thereabouts. And of course, we have what you call capital appreciation. So, given the rise of Philippine inflation is quite high right now, so because of inflation, it also pumped the prices of real estate, specifically the high-end projects.
8% or something.
Thereabouts. Yeah. That's why when I was talking about that developer that increases 2% every quarter, this is actually aligning with inflation.
Oh, this is an increase in inflation.
Yes. I know that inflation is not It's something that Japanese are not really used to because your economy is very stable, right? But in a developing economy like the Philippines, yes, so everything just keeps on getting expensive.
Okay, so Makati BGC property price significantly jumped.
Yes.
How about the other area of the
Okay.
the area?
They're at about the 300,000 peso level also. But zooming down to Metro Cebu, so in Metro Cebu we have some developers selling office space. I think you can just narrow them down to 3 or 4 developers. But the average is about 200,000 pesos per square meter. Yeah, so if you look at the residential prices, it's almost the same.
No.
Residential condo prices and office.
Oh, really?
So if you're an investor, you might want to consider just doing office, especially if you're based in Japan. You just want to get a certain yield and capital appreciation.
Oh, sure.
Probably better to invest in office.
Okay. So from the investment yield point of view, how many percentage yield we could get if we invest into the office?
Well, we're coming from a pandemic, so because of that, rental rates are quite low. If you talk about yield right now, it won't be that attractive because rental rates. I mean, developers are just getting tenants in their properties. So you're talking about a yield of 4 thereabouts. But look at the capital appreciation.
Okay.
I mean, you can almost line it up with inflation. So if your property appreciates by 8%, right?
So could you? Okay, yeah, I understood. Yeah, yield is not high, but capital appreciation is bigger. So from investor point of view, we should watch capital appreciation rather than yield, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Because one more thing about rental rates, rental rates in the Philippines aren't flat. It in a good market it keeps on going up, and every year we have what you call escalation. So let's say for example your year 1 rent will be increasing by a certain percentage on year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5.
Every year.
Every year, yeah.
It is included in the leasing contract.
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay.
It's about an average of 5% for
5%?
5 years.
Already included in the
Yes,
lease agreement.
yes. That's why when you say yield and you just look at the headline rental rates, you're like, that's 4%. But no, it will adjust because of the escalation. Yes.
Every year.
Yes. So let's say for example, you're paying Cebu City, you're paying something like 500 pesos per square meter on year 1. Year 2 would be 525 pesos per square meter.
Automatically.
Then it keeps on going up.
Okay.
So if you secure the lease right now at 500 pesos per square meter, it will have escalated every year until the end of your term, which is on year 5.
Yeah.
Normally, most tenants don't leave after the 5th year of their lease. They stay. And that's the time wherein the tenant has to negotiate with the landlord.
Okay.
Because more often than not, the market rate at that time could be, especially coming from pandemic, the market rate at that time would be higher than the last year's rent the tenant was paying. These are forecasts.
Okay. So from investor point of view, per square meter price almost the same between residential and office. The rental income.
Rental is down right now, but again, it keeps on increasing, and you earn from capital appreciation.
Usually, normal term. Well, how many years is the normal terms of
These 5.
5.
No, but I noticed for Japanese clients, you like to stay longer, so you normally take 10-year leases, and you probably stay for about 20.
So every year,
I remember in my younger years in the industry, I closed a rental with a Japanese company in Alabang. So that was 2011. They're still in that building right now. They're still there. So as long as, even if rental rates become lower in other buildings, but I've noticed for Japanese clients, As long as you're comfortable, you stay.
They stay. Yeah. Okay. So.
Oh, by the way, for that lease that I did in Alabang, because Japanese generally aren't, you don't like escalation rates. So what we did was we averaged we got the net effective rental rate for a 5-year term, and then that average is the rent that they paid flat for 5 years. So developers can be flexible.
Okay.
Yes.
But this calculation is increased every year, but the actual
we averaged it off, and then it becomes a flat rent. Yes. Yes. For the entire term.
Okay. So finally, I want to know that capital appreciation is a big attraction for the investment to Philippines. So could you tell us capital appreciation? How many percentage of capital appreciation happen in each area and past, and also what's going to be happening in the future? Capital appreciation in each region.
Okay, so we're going to talk about Metro Manila, Metro Cebu, and Metro Davao, the three major.
Even Metro Manila, Makati, I want to know.
Okay, so you want to know Makati,
BGC, how many percentage capital appreciation?
Okay.
BGC, Ortigas, Bay Area, Quezon.
Well, why don't we start with the biggest capital appreciation?
Okay.
So that's BGC.
BGC?
Yeah.
How about how many percentage in the past history?
My
Per
goodness. I remember that back in 2015, we were already shocked that buyers were willing to pay 500,000 pesos per square meter for land in BGC. 500,000 pesos per square meter in 2015. Fast forward 2019, it was already 1 million pesos per square meter.
1 million.
Yes. And then now, you can't even find land that's for sale. You need to submit an offer. And when you offer, it cannot be lower than 1.5 million pesos per square meter. So it tripled in value from 2015.
After 2015, the value become triple. Yeah. Okay. So 10 years. 10 years.
Yes.
10 years. 10 years and triple.
And there's nothing available.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. If you know anything, just we can work on something. But yeah.
That is actually happening.
Yes. And then Makati. Well, Makati's always been the established business district, so it's always been on the high side. It's almost the same as BGC, between depending on the area as well, between 1 million to about 1.5 million as well. But it depends on the area. The closer it is to Ayala Avenue, the more expensive it is.
So when we talk about capital appreciation, we are always thinking about the GDP growth. Philippine GDP growth average last decades in 6-7%.
Yes, 67. Correct.
Yeah. So I think property value is surpass GDP or same as GDP. What do you think?
Well, I think
it depends on the.
I think capital appreciation is affected more by inflation.
Inflation.
Yes.
Okay.
So because the higher the cost of your goods and services, the more expensive it is, for example, to develop a property. Raw materials for building a project keeps on getting higher with the price of steel, the price of concrete, glass, all the components needed. So as these get expensive, the developer has no choice but to sell it at a higher price. So it's more of the inflation that increases property values.
In my gut feeling, the capital appreciation in the center of Manila BGC in Makati around 6-7% increase.
thereabouts, yes. No, but I mean, with the example I gave you earlier, it's more of 10%.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think about?
I mean, that was, well, I mean, let me correct myself, that was for land. But yes, in terms of projects, let's say residential condos, that would be with average. Yes.
6 to
7%.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, what do you think about the future from now on?
It's just bound to go up. It's just gonna go up, in my opinion.
Keep
Keep on increasing.
7% increase every year. Keep.
Because land is finite.
No,
Land is finite, meaning you don't have a lot of land available in prime spaces like this.
Yeah.
So, of course, with scarcity and with increasing demand, prices tend to go up.
Okay. That's it? Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
good. You're good. No more questions. Anything you
Do you want
want
to?
say?
Yeah. Could you say? So finally, could you say something about the Japanese investors?
Oh,
Yeah, it's really
Yeah.
you know, I told you this earlier, Emerson. You know, Japan is one of my favorite countries. One of my favorite places to go to for my family, for business as well. I work, you know, I like working with Japanese people because you're very honest, direct, industrious. When I send an email at 11 p.m. I mean, most of my colleagues from Japan still answer me. Yeah, no, but yes, I mean, I think in general, the Philippines loves Japan. They love Japanese people. We love your food. Yeah. So, So for Japanese investors watching the channel right now, we'd like to invite you to take a look at the Philippines. You're welcome here. You know, we pick up a lot of positive things from your culture. And I mean, as an office leasing person, we love having Japanese tenants.
I see.
Yeah. No, because you know, Japanese tenants would tend to stay, they keep their offices clean, they're very polite, very orderly. So, you know, everyone can always learn something from different cultures. There's a lot to learn from the Japanese people. So yes, Japanese investors, please come over. Please talk to Imura-san for your real estate needs or investment needs, and then I will help him when he needs help.
Thank you very much. Thank you.